Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, Reeling in Holistic Health, where we care about your mental health and well being. I'm your host, Coach Rice, and I want to make sure that you tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, where I have my special guest on to talk about real issues that matter most. I want you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook Live, on Business Facebook page, also on the Be Awesome Network. Stay tuned. I think you're going to really like this next guest. Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, where we care about your mental health and well-being. I'm your host, Coach Rice, and with me today, I have a special guest. Her name is Belinda Mooney, and she is an author of several books, coach, and speaker. And so let's take a deep dive into who she is. So, Belinda, tell us where you're from and what was it that caused you to embark upon being a coach, author, and speaker?
Oh, thank you, Martha. Well, I'm originally from Louisiana, so that's the accent that you hear.
Okay.
And I have the good fortune right now of living in the Woodlands, Texas. It's northeast of Houston,
I
and it
know
is the
exactly
most
where you at.
wonderful, wonderful place. I love it. I've lived all over, including overseas, and I love this place. It's wonderful. So I'm really happy being here. And as a widow with young adults, I finished homeschooling my children and then needed to work again. So I decided I would go back to teaching in human services because I have licenses in social work and addiction. So I did that, and I've done that for the last 7.5 years or so. And during that time, toward the end, at the beginning of last year in 2024, I had been thinking and discerning about coaching because it felt like it was a way to use all the skills that I have
Okay.
without the pain of therapy. Because even though I use good boundaries, because I am very
Well, you have
empathic,
to, right?
yeah, it's because I'm very empathic and spiritually sensitive, I still kind of pick up the pain from other people. So if I'm in therapy with people, it's difficult for my body, having come out of trauma, to continue to heal. So I can use all these skills in coaching and just stay where we are in the present and go forward in their life. So it's not the same at all.
Right.
And I still use all the listening skills, asking great questions, helping. I love helping people set goals. That's what I do with my human
Yes.
service students for all the years that I was teaching them. We would go through my therapeutic lifestyle changes workbook, which is what I told you that I'd written for them.
Oh,
And
nice.
this
Okay.
I wrote. And so we'd go through this, they'd set up all their wellness areas. And then when they go out into what I call, I'm sorry, but I call it the meat grinder because it's really hard to work in human services. Like
Meat grinder.
yes, it's very hard for people to work in without burning out. I know I have. And so I'm
Okay.
like on a quest to make sure that people don't burn out. So I would get them to develop all their wellness areas, and then they'd have
Hmm.
them in place as they went out into their work. And they could make sure that they would keep revising as needed and making sure that they were taking care of themselves so that hopefully they never burn out. For me, first and foremost, they can serve longer in their ministry to clients, and then the
Okay.
clients will get a better version of them if they're not all burned out. So as a teacher and a person who loves to develop other people, it made me, and it still makes me happy to see people use all these wellness areas, keep themselves well, whether they're a therapist, a coach,
Hmm.
or any other kind of person in ministry of any kind serving other people. It's very, very important to put your own oxygen mask on first and make sure
Yes.
you're okay. And then you're serving from a place of wellness and wholeness and happiness instead of, "Ah, I'm just here and I
Right.
gotta just push through," and that's what I did. But that's not how I want other
Survival
people.
mode, right?
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it, Martha.
Yes.
So I'm trying to
Yeah.
help people to thrive instead of just survive. So
Yes.
yeah.
That's all. So your book is a workbook.
Yes, it is. So, a long time ago, my first book was a book about teenagers who had coexisting disorders of a
Okay.
mental illness and an addiction. Then I wrote a couple of history books that go with world and American history textbooks for Christians. And then I wrote this book and another book. And then last year I really put out three. I had two poetry books and another one. And then this year I'm working on two of them. So I'm just trying to get, as far as my writing, I'm trying to get things that are very helpful and practical to people to help them to know um, what to do with either their own mental health or and wellness or other people's, or try to help hopefully make an intervention for people if they need to get people into treatment. So I've got some YouTube videos up about the TLCs that we're going to talk about today, these therapeutic lifestyle changes, and some listening skills and things like that. So yeah, I'm just trying
Okay,
to,
I like how you TLC, tender loving care. No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Well,
Right.
that's what therapeutic lifestyle changes are. They are totally tender, loving
Exactly,
care for
right.
yourself. Yes.
So who's your
Right.
ideal client?
Well, like my very ideal client would be a professional mom or woman who really wants to, number one, prevent burnout, and number
Okay.
two, just excel in her life areas, but in a, I want to call it a light way, not a heavy way. Not the way that I'm talking about when you're just pushing through things. Because I see right now there's just a lot of suffering and there are a lot of people just pushing through. And
Yes.
sometimes, especially if we've had trauma, our body's trying to tell us, no, I don't want you to push through. I want you to rest. I'd like
Right.
for you to take care of me.
The
And-
power of rest.
right. So I'm trying to help people to, especially women who are serving their families. Um, when I was younger, had I known that I had so much trauma that I needed to really take care of, I think if I had done that work then, I would have been a much better mom to my children while I was working and doing all this stuff. There was a time when I first got my master's in social work after I finished that I was just so, I mean, that was the first time I guess I burned out. I was 10 years postmasters like a horse out of the gate on a sprint race. And this was a very long endurance race. So you can imagine that I had some problems. I was just really burning the candle at both ends. And I even worked through mono. Like that is how crazy my life was. So
Oh,
when I
wow.
tell you that I have a mission to help people not go where I've been, I really do. Because if I could spare any of y'all that pain, that would be amazing. So my ideal client is the kind of woman who wants to have assessments like the Clifton Strengths, the virtue assessments, the temperaments, put all the pieces together, make sure that she's in the place, whether it's with her work and family, where she really wants to be, and she wants to then go forward with um, freedom and I want to say excelling, but it's not, again, it's not striving and pushing through. It's, oh my gosh, here I am. I'm showing up totally myself with everything God has given me. And I'm just like ready to give it to you. And I got all my wellness in place. I'm not going to burn out trying to give you everything, but I am going to show up my best self. And like, really, that's
It's
what makes it
pouring from
fly.
an overflow.
Yes,
Yes, pouring from an
exactly.
overflow.
And that just makes me happy to think about it, because if you think about how women are doing so many things, they're working, they're taking care of their family, and they're trying to be good moms to their children. I just want them to have something left over for their family, because there was so many days where I came in, I was just so exhausted and tired. I didn't feel like I had anything left to give my kids. I don't want anybody to have to live like that. I'd like to help them set up their lives, set their goals to where they're managing like in a rhythm, creating balance and
Yes.
calmness and order in their life. And that's why I set up the TLC workbook. That's why I went through it with my students, and I'm trying to do it with other people. So, yeah, all these things. And then I have a little, like a side mission where I'd love to help Christian authors finally get their books out, right? So that's because
Awesome.
I've got all these books and I've traditionally published and self-published. So I know, ooh, wow, ooh, Ooh, I know the I know the terrain for all of them, and it just depends on what you want to do and what your talents are as to how you're going to get from here to there, because the writing is wonderful and that's pretty easy. All the rest of the stuff you have to do to get the book
The
over the finish
marketing,
line,
right?
that's a whole other piece that most people can't do. But I love to help it. I love to help people actually get finished. And one of my clients got a contract on her book, and she's going forward. I told her I'm going out to eat tonight with my son in celebration of your book. I felt like it's my book. Rejoice
Oh,
with those who
nice.
rejoice, weep with those who weep, right? So I'm rejoicing anytime someone publishes. And then the other little group memberships that I would love to have eventually, or one support group and coaching group membership for therapists, and then one for coaches, where we can come and we can be a support for each other, work on our wellness areas, and just
Oh,
keep building each other up.
nice.
Yeah, so these are kind of like, so I have the one big picture, and then the three
Right.
little
And then
side
those,
pictures
yeah,
where I'm helping people in those ways. But I think overall, it feels like God has told me that my writing was going to be the thing that helps the most people, because it's going to get out there to more people than just who I can
right,
help right here. And then hopefully eventually I'll be able to speak in different conferences again. I used to do that all the time I even owned my own training institute those 10 years that I told you. Was teaching at Georgia
wow.
State and Oglethorpe. I had my own training institute where I was training other professionals in addictions and self-care and ethics. And then I homeschooled my own children for many years. And then now I'm back to doing these things again. So, God has a big plan, and sometimes we don't see the whole picture that far
Right.
ahead.
It's
But
probably good, right?
oh yeah, oh, I'm telling you,
You'll probably
that's
run.
exactly right. Yes, I would have. I think I would have.
So I like how you mentioned how we give the world, we go out to the world, we give them so much of us, and we
Yeah,
come home and we kind of give our family the leftovers, right?
exactly.
How did you train your clients to switch that? Because that happens so much. It happens in marriages. How do you get them to swap that out and
Right.
with balance?
Right. Well, I think when you look at the relationship TLC, so the way I do it is in this, I've got 3 chapters where I talk to you about all the different wellness areas, including your relationships to your family, your spiritual life, your creativity, everything that will build you up, right? And then in the middle, I've got where like you're going to write it out. And in
Okay.
the relationship area, I'm really pushing people to say, what do you want to do with your kids? It's going to be a goal and it's going to be on your calendar, just like that appointment at work or that um, trip out of town that you got to take for the company. Like
Right.
it's going to be where you know what you're doing. And I think a lot of times we think that we have to push and drive ourselves so hard to produce for the other people that we're working for. Oh my gosh, this is the job, and they're expecting all this stuff.
Right.
Well, if we think in our hands, okay, there's only so much of me, so how can I go to work and show up again, without like pushing and driving, being calm, setting reasonable goals. If I know I only have so much energy, then why am I trying to reach this goal that might take me 2 months normally in this week? I know I won't have
Right.
anything left for my children. I know. And
Exactly.
I know I did it. I know I didn't have anything left for my children. Oh, yeah, I got a lot of accolades about how great I did at work, but I came home and I was just so tired. I could really never make supper. We ate out all the time. I just couldn't do anything I wanted to do. Even on the weekends, I was so tired that I couldn't hardly do my housework that was like
Wow.
piling up
That
during the
happens
week.
to a lot of people.
Exactly. So, one of the things I love to help people with, I even use the Pomodoro method. It's 25 on and 5 off. Like whatever tasks you have, and I use
Mhm.
it for my writing. I'll set a
Hmm.
timer for 25 minutes and I will write to that timer, or I will organize to that timer, or I'll do dishes to that timer, whatever. And then I'll stop and I'll go get some water, walk around outside, go to the bathroom. And if I'm writing, I'll put on a load of clothes then in the 5 minutes, right? Because the 5 minutes are just enough time to go do one of those little household tasks.
Oh yeah.
So I try to help people set up times that are manageable where they can get all this stuff done. So if you have like a big thing, like you're trying to plan something, a party for your child, well, it takes 25 minutes to do that. And then the 5 minutes you get up from wherever you're planning and go put on a little laundry or get the mail or whatever, and then come back, set another one, finish whatever you're planning or whatever you're having to do. I think that trying to operate where we have the goals set in front of us, not too many at a time. I am still working on that. Like, I think for me, in my personal development, what I'm really trying to do is help my body get out of overwhelm and
Mhm.
just take everything off my plate that's not necessary and start working in a more realistic time frame to where if I think, oh, I can do all this now, it's never as fast as you think it's going to be. So I need to broaden that and give myself a little more space, not add things in when I broaden it, but just put things to where they're manageable, both with my work and then with my home life.
Yes. And so with your transformational journal, your therapeutic lifestyles
Changes.
uh,
Uh-huh.
changes, in that workbook is where all the assessments is.
No, the assessments, people take them online, but
Okay, that's different. Okay.
this one is the workbook where you've decided what you want to do in different areas. So like those assessments could be part of your spiritual and personal development areas for your TLCs. Okay, I'll take the Clifton Strengths this week, or I'll take the
Okay.
temperaments assessments this week. And it would be things that you, again, you plan out. You don't do them every week. You do one a week or one every 2 weeks or whatever,
Right.
but it's part of your goals. And then we take everything and we look at what your life is like and what you want to do. And then we make sure that once you've written out your goals, I go back through them and I say, okay, you're not telling yourself exactly when you're going to do this, or, oh, this is just a bit too
So you're
vague,
not being specific.
enough, right?
Right.
And so I'm
Okay.
pushing and I'm challenging the person. But my students said, the first thing that they worked on mostly was sleep because they were people who had children and jobs
Sleep
and
deprived, huh?
in work, yes. So they were very much sleep deprived. So we all as a class would work on our sleep together. And the next week they'd come back, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel totally different. So what I say to people is, what is the one area in your life that if it were better, everything would be better? Okay, be
Mm.
perfect, but it would just make everything so much better. And that's the one you want to start with. And I don't care which one it is. It could be sleep, it could be exercise, it could be nutrition, it could be you're not praying it every day. You're not spending enough time with your family because you're pushing and driving and, all that stuff. So, what is the one area that if it were in balance and in order, everything else would start to fall into place? And then we
That's a
can,
great
once that
question.
one's in the thing, then you can say, okay, now what's the next area that if I put that one in balance will continue to help me get my life in order? See what I'm doing?
Yeah,
Like,
I know exactly what you're doing because
yes,
I
and
do it
you,
too. It's
yes,
that because one area affects the other areas. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. And so if you could just start on the area you choose,
yes,
you're giving the client the choice,
right.
so they're more open to do the work because it was their choice. You're not doing it for them. I love it. Yeah.
Right? And they are telling themselves
Mhm.
what they need to do and they're being accountable. So, like this past week, I do my group coaching membership for authors on
Okay.
Tuesdays at 4:30. So what we decided was we were all going to start with the first thing about our writing that needed to get done, and that was to clear our desk and set up our area to where we actually wanted to write and we could actually sit down and write. I mean, you might think that something is so little that it's not worth your attention, but it doesn't matter how little it is. If it is what's going to make the difference, it might be that one little thing. You know what? I don't care what I'm going to do. If I have to pull everything together and put them in stacks like this, I'm taking it off my desk so that my desk is clear every night. And when I made that decision, and I would walk past, because unfortunately I have to have my desk in my room, in my
Right,
bedroom, because I don't have another place in my home that's not bothering other people that live with me.
right.
So but when I walk past that desk and it's all clean, then I'm going to bed with my mind clean and
Without
decluttered
clutter,
and
right.
cleared.
Hmm.
Right. So maybe the first thing you need to do in your life is just declutter whatever area is driving you crazy. Go get it. Go do it. And don't think about the other areas that are driving you crazy. What's the one area that you need to declutter the most, that if you declutter that one area, then everything else would feel more manageable, and then you could go to the number two area. See? And so,
Yes.
whatever it is in your life, what's the one thing that I need to do right now? Al Anon calls it the next right thing. Like, what is it that just makes sense to do right now that would make everything a little bit better? And I'll do that. And then when I'm finished with that, I'll look up and I go, oh,
Oh, it
wow.
gives you
Doesn't
such
that feel
relief.
good? Yes. And that's the other thing. You're building in for people, and they're building in for themselves. You're building into your life a natural reward system, because you told yourself what was the one most important thing. And then when you get it done and it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, you feel it. All your endorphins are released. Everything is
Yes.
just so much better, and you feel so much hope. And I guess one of the things that I hope that people will get out of what I do, whether it's my writing, my coaching, my speaking, my teaching, whatever I do, is hope that, you know what? If we sit down and we plan this out together and with God, this stuff can become manageable. Even if you have to just let some things go that you didn't want to go. All right. I might have wanted to do that speaking workshop with that person that I thought was wonderful, but it's not the time right now. Maybe that's next year. Maybe this book is what I need to get out now. And then when I'm done with that, wow, I can breathe again. And then I can go to the next thing. But right now, trying to do them both at the same time is not working. I have to admit it's not working and just say, it's okay, B. You just took a little bit too much on at a time. And you can let that go. You can let it go.
And I like how you mentioned that because we don't we don't celebrate our wins, the
Yeah,
small wins enough. We want
right,
the whole big picture before we begin to say, "Hey, I took one step further." And we want to make sure it's like all or nothing thinking
right,
that
right,
keeps us moving in a direction where we fall into burnout.
right,
Um, if it's not perfect, it's not good enough.
right.
And we have to be careful with that. So in your writing group, you mentioned you're coaching them. When you say you're coaching them to get it out, is it the which part you mentioned that they done with the writing, but
Oh,
what
no,
part is
not yet. Most of them are writing. So what we're doing is, and I just started it. So one week we're looking at some reflection questions, like
okay?
what is it that you need to do, or what's your number one goal for your writing this week, or whatever, and we're sharing about that. Then the next week what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer, okay, ask me questions. Usually this is a bigger ticket item, but I don't care. I want to give this to my coachees, because I want them to be able to have like an office hours with me where they just ask me a question about something that they don't understand or they need help with, and I'm here like someone who's gone before them, who is more in a mentor role, who can give them specific resources, or just flat out like a consultant, give them advice, like, because like if I know publishers, I can tell them, well, contact this person. Or if I know
Okay,
that in order to build a launch team, this is what you're going to need to do, I'm just going to give them. And then, so we're going to meet once a month and we're going to do this. the rotation. And then
Mhm.
once a month I'll have a video that I just like the one I just sent out about evaluating your writing space, evaluating your physical health. And then at the end of everything, I'm going to give them a copy of my second edition of this TLC workbook that I'm working on right
Oh,
now.
wow.
And they're going to work through that and get personal input from me, like I did with my students at Lone Star, and they're going to be able to set up all their TLCs for their life. So it's kind
Okay.
of a journey, but the videos that I'm going to cover are going to be all the different writing things, the editing, the building a launch team, pitching to a publisher, what to expect during publishing, how to get testimonials, just all that stuff. And then all the marketing. Oh,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice. And that's
yeah,
what a lot of writers need, the marketing part, because that's the hard part, right?
right,
It's
right.
getting that book out there and,
Yeah, and
several, yeah.
how to set up at booths. Like, because I'm right now during the Advent season for Christians, there are a lot of churches who do like Advent markets and Christmas markets and things like that. Well,
Right.
you have to find out those in your area and get your books, get yourself signed up and get your books
Hmm.
there. You have to probably sign the majority of a book, and then you can write in the person's name. Like you're not going to be able to do everything when you're in a booth. So there are things you do ahead of time, and there are things you do in the booth, and there are things you take to the booth. So it's things that people wouldn't know, but because I've been doing this now for a
Nice.
while, I'm able to help them. Yeah.
Well, Belinda, thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure that the audience would love to see what that look like. And I will put your links in the video. But before we go, can you please give the audience one piece of advice that you want
Oh,
to leave with?
okay. Well, I guess to take a look at your life with God and pray, Lord, where is it that I am out of balance? And how do you want me to put this back into balance?
Mm.
Lord, help me make the plan. And then if you and I make the plan, Lord, then I will work to the plan. And this will help you. And even if you don't have the TLC workbook, if you look at the different areas of your life and you look at what you're currently doing or not doing, what your projected goal could be, and you make it very specific with a time and a date and a completion and that kind of thing. And then you look at your strengths to meet it. I mean, it's easier if you have the workbook, but you don't have to have it. If there is that one area in your life that is really out of balance, that if you put it into balance, everything would get better. Write out what it's like now, your projected goal, make the plan with God, like I said, and then what are your strengths to do that? Because you've got the strengths. If you don't know them, take the Gallup Clifton Strengths thing and give me a call and we can go through it because I am Clifton Strengths certified. I can help you understand what those strengths are. And then for every single TLC area, you put in the strengths that will help you to meet that goal that you have. And in the workbook,
Okay,
I've got
strategic.
yes, and in the workbook, I've got specific goals that people have actually written out and how I help them get their first try better and the best, the one they're actually going to meet. And instead of you having to think up how to write goals or try to follow a smart method that still feels like it's way esoteric out there, I've got actual things written in the workbook. So it's on Amazon. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Belinda, for sharing. And to the audience, if you feel like this has been something that you were enlightened by, please do share. And her links will be in the video. So if you want to reach out to her, if you want to learn how to launch a book, or hire her as a speaker, or even as a coach to help
Right.
you with your TLC, your
Right.
therapeutic.
That's right.
Please reach out. therapeutic lifestyle change. She
Right.
is the person to call. So please reach out. And to the audience, thank you so much for listening and have a fantastic Monday. It's your time to shine. Your journey to chart. Coach Rice with